What's going on, guys? How you doing? TK Pryor, Masterwealthbuilders LLC. I've always come at you guys from the earnesty, from the honest standpoint, just providing educational content for those willing to seek knowledge and learn more. I'm your financial literacy guy. I represent Masterwealthbuilders LLC. Concept is seeking knowledge, mastering your wealth building, right? That's not something a lot of people do. Wealth is not something taught. The concept is not really propagated, or people don't seek information to expand their knowledge, expand their decision-making processes, and the average person is comfortable with doing nothing but complaining about everything. So where do you set yourself in that realm of failure? Do you seek knowledge? Do you look for information? Do you vet? Do you trust but verify? Because I've always come on here for the past 3 years with different knowledge pieces. And how it works is I became a licensed wealth strategist. My mother laid the groundwork by leaving me a trust. In that trust, she funded it with an annuity. And that inspired me to go get licensed, learn, seek information. And then once I paid to be in certain rooms, I didn't want to gatekeep. I wanted to share that information with my community because I felt like my community is the lowest participating number in the financial literacy game. Like, we don't participate economically in the game of financial literacy when it comes to consuming content, creating content, and then, of course, exposing tactics, principles, strategies of the super rich. That's not what the average person that looks like me is out here looking for, consuming, interested in learning, or participating in. So I set myself in a very isolated lane where it's mostly other ethnicities that are at the top of that field. And I really just wanted to do two things: learn the content, apply it to my own life and my business, and then share it with anyone else that was willing to learn. Of course, over the past 3 years, I found out that people who look like me don't want to learn, they're not interested, and very few people understand the content, even when you put it in front of them. But instead of being judgmental, which is what most people in the lane of financial literacy who are successful do, they say, don't give gold to a fool. I have always said I'm not going to gatekeep. And if my people are willing to learn, the seeds may fall on concrete, but I'm going to give you the seed. So in the course of 3 years, I've talked about on market versus off market investment strategies. Because a lot of times when you speak about multiplying money, most people only learn stock market strategies. And I always operate within the rule of 100, where you balance your portfolio and you hedge your portfolio. And that concept means using both on-market and off-market strategies so that what you have in the stock market hedges what you have off the stock market. And using the rule of 100, the younger you are, the more you have at risk. The older you are, the more you have in protected accounts that never lose a dime. So if you operate holistically in that thought process, when you start talking about advancing, making progress, and of course, multiplying money, when you take the holistic approach of structure and you also think about what is effective, okay? Because you can say what you want. When you start talking about math, it's the numbers. Does the numbers make sense? Are you in a net zero loan? Are you in an opportunistic situation where every dollar that you have earns or has a purpose? So that's when we start talking strategy. You just want to make your current money get a job. Now, a lot of us don't have disposable income or free money that we can allocate to get a job. But there are thought processes where you should minimize debt or treat debt like an employee, where you take a redirection strategy of discipline in order to make money get a job. That's your opportunity when you don't have a lot. When you do have disposable income and you're disciplined, it's about where do you save? Where do you employ those dollars, right? What's most effective mathematically so that the dollars you employ bring back more return, okay? So these are why my firm is called Wealth Strategist, why my title is called Wealth Strategist, because I just gave you the fingerprints to what's most important. Are you operating within the rule of 100? Are you employing every single dollar? Are you seeking information? Are you open-minded enough to trust but verify? Because I'm sick of people telling me I've never been taught that. I've never heard of that. So just like when you were in college and the professor introduced something new to you, trust but verify. Do your homework, do your research, expose yourself to the concept. Okay? There's a million ways to study in the 21st century. We're in the age of information. Just like I had to study the information, you can study the information when I introduce the concept to you. And if the math makes sense, there's nothing to argue about. Because economically, I'm only talking about how to make your money work more efficient, be more financially savvy, make economic decisions that pay your future, and then placing your money in the right areas so that over time you get that avalanche effect. You really want to get that avalanche effect where you're rolling downhill, picking up momentum. Okay. So off market strategies is my primary focus. Long-term planning and strategic implementation where you're using financial tools like a fixed index annuity, and you're using max funded IULs, you're using, of course, a family trust, a business trust, you're leveraging cash, you're collateralizing cash. You understand that cash is not king because of inflation and opportunity costs. You understand how to weigh opportunity costs so that you're always on the winning end of that scale. And I hope some of the things I said in this video elevates your mind, because I know that I'm pouring water into some. Click the link in my bio, schedule a free consultation. It doesn't cost any money to speak to me. I'm really here with the earnest heart, working to lead people to a higher decision-making process because of tools, implementation, strategies, tactics, principles, discipline, consistency, all of those things that I will basically expose you to, you know what I mean? In the consultation, we expose you to some math. And if the math makes sense, you sign a contract and you move money.